Yo, what's good, people? Welcome to the next section of the course. In this part, I'm going to be going through arrangement. So we've got our drums, we're happy with the mix, and we're ready to start structuring out the track. So the first thing I do is select the drum pattern, go up here, and then I select split by channel. And now it's just going to separate all the drums into an individual channel, so we have more flexibility. You could just left click and bring them all down, or we can right click to delete everything. Left click the first one, hold shift and left click, and then bring these back out. And then just so I can see it a bit more clearly, I'll bring these out. And now we can copy these over. And we have these three sections, but we're not really sure exactly how we're going to arrange the track yet. But what I do know is I'm going to want an intro, which is usually going to be around 8 bars. So I think for this one, it makes sense to have an 8-bar intro. If it was more of a storytelling beat, we might want to add a 16-bar intro or something like that. But this is just a hard, dark trap beat. So we want to get into the drums as quickly as possible, really. And there's a couple go-to ways that you can structure a track. But again, it's going to be up to your taste and your ear. And the way I like to think about arranging a beat is building up tension and releasing it. Let's see what we can start with. Let's bring all of these back. Now, I'll usually take out some of the higher frequency sounds just because high frequencies relate to excitement and energy. So you want to save that for something like the hook. Usually the intro will sound a bit lower because then when the higher frequencies come in during the hook, it's just going to sound a lot more exciting. It's going to feel like it's hitting harder without it hitting harder, if that makes sense. So we could even get rid of this. And if you remember, we also have this section where the main melody comes down a bit compared to this. So I think we should use that. Maybe get rid of the choir. Might not need this part either. So we could keep the intro like this. There's enough energy to keep us interested, and then we can introduce something new here. We could just have the drop and bring the drums in, and I was planning on just doing an 8-bar intro, but I might be changing my mind. What I'm thinking we could do is bring in something like the hats, still have this melody playing, and then bring in something new with the melody. Maybe that. Or the choir, that could work. Let's bring those bells back in as well. And then because we don't have the bass playing, I'm going to right click on the EQ, select create automation clip, and I'm going to turn the EQ off because I want to hear that low end. There we go. Maybe keep it up here. So we've got this build up. And we can cut the drums here. Maybe we could cut the main melody and this and just have these play. And now we're going to have most things play, and this will be the hook. So we're going to want to extend this. We'll maybe double it up. But I'm not going to have everything play straight away. We'll copy that. And this whole section is going to be the hook. Technically it's 18 bars, but because we're working at 1/6/2, it's sort of known as double time. So really a rapper is going to think of that as 8 bars. I'll label this so you can see. So we'll call that hook 1. Now I don't want all the drums to come in. So I'm going to save this 808. I might even save this kick. This is just too much for straight away. Might get rid of this. Maybe this too. Then I might even save the open hats and percussion for the second half of the hook. Especially because this is the first hook. So we can have this play, and then everything comes in. but we need this part. Actually, let's keep this one, just we've got some high end. So the only new thing we really add in is this counter melody, and then the drums. So this is all hook, and we've got the kick. And then in this next part, we're going to want to release that tension. So think about the hook usually having most of the energy, but still having a little bit of variation with the drums and maybe one of the counter melodies. And then after the hook, because we've had all of this energy build up and all of this excitement, we want to duck it back down. So let's copy this out. I'm going to get rid of the perks and the open hat. Same with this 808, same with the kick. And let's see. So I want a little pause of the drums, but not for too long because the whole track is quite energetic in itself. So we don't need big breaks of drums. Maybe this. I think this could work. Still not going to use that 808. Feeling that. Now the kick can come in. Maybe I could bring something else in from the instruments. Yeah, we'll bring that choir in. And then for trap verses, these days you usually have an 8-bar or a 16 if you're working in double time. So let's just call it a 16 because it's how FL is going to read it. So we've got 8 bars there, another 8 here. Now we just need one more section. I'm going to copy this out one more time. Now maybe we could start cutting some things. Cut these as well. Then I want it to cut here. So I'm just going to use this note, which is a silent note. So it's going to stop the note. Maybe here. We'll get rid of the choir there. I'm actually going to get rid of this in this section too. Just keeping it really open. Comes back in here. And then maybe we'll get rid of it there. One other thing we could try is cutting all of the drums, and then we can also take this EQ off so we can hear the bass from the piano again. That might be better. Could even try and cut everything here. Let's just see. So yeah, that's going to be up to you. I kind of like both. Let me take the EQ off right at this end part. We'll see if this works. Because then we're just keeping a bit more energy. Alright, cool. I'm feeling that. So let's copy this over. For most trap tracks these days, there's only 2 verses. You'll have a hook, verse 1, which is this section. You'll have hook 2, which is this section. Then we got verse 2. Now in the second hook, it doesn't have to be the exact same as the first hook. For example, we could bring the kick in straight away. Why not? And then for the second verse, we could switch this up as well. Maybe we leave a bit more space. We have something like this. Just keeps it a bit more interesting. And then we're going to have one more hook. We'll do the same as hook 2. And then we're going to cut this too. Let's do that at the end of verse 1 too. Alright, now at the end of hook 3, we're just gonna take this melody, and then maybe we could add a couple more things. Copy it again, and then we'll just fade this out. It's a simple way to end it. The only other thing you might want to think about adding is just some sort of transition or riser. So let's go to the risers and transitions folder. Find one that we like. Again, these aren't finalized, but there's some that I like. This one, for example. And we could add this just before the hook, at the end of the hook. Let's see what sounds right. Let's bring it in. We'll just line it up. So we've got the peak coming up, and then it hits. Might add some reverb to that. We'll use Valhalla, my go-to. So I'm feeling that. Let's call this transition. Let's try it for the hook. Try this one as well. Might just have it at the end of the hook, and then same here. And yeah, I think that's all it needs. Got 3 hooks, 2 verses, standard pattern. And that's all you really need for the arrangement. It's not too complex. We've got a lot of different sounds, but we're finding space for them all. And it's going to be easy for the artist to understand where the hook is going to be, because we had these build-ups in sort of like the bridge section and just before the hook. There's also enough changes to keep the whole track interesting, even though the melody itself is kind of repetitive. So I hope this video helped you. In the next one, I'm going to show you how to export your beats properly.